How do we as humans actually manage to survive and thrive? It is a massive question, right? But believe it or not, every single society throughout history has had to come up with its own answer. Today, we're going to look at the fundamental blueprints that all of them use to meet our most basic needs. Let's get into it. But first, I want to ask you something. Just think about your day-to-day life. Your home, your family, your job. Have you ever really truly stopped and wondered why it all looks the way it does? Why this way of doing things is what we call normal? It's so easy to just assume this is the way things are, but our normal is just one of thousands of possible answers to the same test.
So that's where we're going to start, by questioning that very idea of normal. It's tempting to look back at history and see other cultures as, steps on a ladder leading up to us, but that's a huge misunderstanding of how human societies actually work.
And here's the key idea, the thing you have to get. Every single society's structure, I'm talking from ancient hunter-gatherers all the way up to modern nations, is a brilliant, functional solution to the problem of survival in a very specific place and time. It's not about being behind or more advanced. It's all about adaptation. Each one is its own unique blueprint for success.
Okay, so if every society is so different, what's the common thread? Well, despite all the wild variations you see on the surface, every human group ever has been working from the exact same to-do list. And here it is. This is the non-negotiable list for human survival. Every single society, no exceptions, has had to figure out a way to provide these four things. You need shelter from the elements, you need safety from threats, you need a reliable way to get food, and you absolutely need those social connections that hold a community together. This is the universal test that everyone has to pass.
This quote just nails it. The real genius of humanity isn't just that we meet these needs. It's the incredible, mind-boggling diversity in how we meet them. And a single biggest driver of that diversity? It's the environment. The land, the climate, what's available. Those things dictate the entire blueprint.
All right, let's see this in action. We'll start with the first big one, shelter. We all need a roof over our heads, right? But as you're about to see, what that roof looks like can be wildly different, and for some very, very good environment-driven reasons.
Okay, now this is fascinating. Look at these two totally different but equally perfect solutions to the same problem. Over on the left, you've got the adobe houses of the Pueblo peoples, built in the scorching hot, dry desert. They used what was right there, mud, straw, stone, to build these super thick walls that literally soak up the sun's heat and keep the inside remarkably cool. It's a permanent, genius solution for a settled life. Now, flip over to the right, the teepee of the Plains nations. On those huge, open plains, life was about following the bison herds, so they used animal hides and poles to create a shelter that was not only tough, but completely portable. You could pack the whole thing up and move with your food source.
So when you ask this question, the answer becomes so clear, doesn't it? These aren't primitive homes in the slightest. They are absolute masterclasses in engineering, and they were dictated by the demands of the land itself. The desert demanded thick, cool walls. The open plains demanded portability. The environment literally shaped the solution.
Okay, so let's take that same logic and apply it to something that isn't a physical building. Let's talk about social structures. Specifically, let's look at the family and how the job description for every single person in it can change dramatically based on the world right outside their door.
Let's compare the role of a child in two completely different economic worlds. So, in an agrarian or farming society, a child was a crucial part of the family economy. They weren't just kids, they were workers. They learned by doing, working alongside the adults, and contributing directly to the family's survival. Their job was labor. But then you jump forward to an industrial society, and that role gets totally flipped on its head. Children become economically dependent. Their main job isn't work, it's getting a formal education. It's this protected period of development that's completely separate from the workforce. The economy literally rewrites the job description of being a kid.
So the big takeaway here is that these social roles, what it means to be a child, a parent, or a worker, they are not set in stone, not at all. They are incredibly fluid. They bend and they reshape in response to these huge economic and technological shifts over time. The blueprint for family life adapts, just like the blueprint for a house.
So where does all this leave us? What's the big conclusion? Well, when you tie all of these different threads together, you arrive at this one really powerful idea. There is no default setting for human society.
So let's just quickly recap this whole adaptive blueprint idea. We know that all societies have that same universal to-do list: shelter, safety, food, connection.
We know the environment and history are what shape their unique solutions, and we've seen how social roles, like what a family looks like, evolve right along with technology and the economy. And all of that leads to the final, most important point. Your normal is nothing more and nothing less than the product of your specific context.
And really, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. There is no single, standard, correct way for humans to live. There's just one human species, but there are thousands and thousands of blueprints for living. No single path is more evolved or right than any other. There are simply thousands of different, equally valid and successful adaptations to the exact same challenge of survival.
So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Take a look around at your own world. That 9-to-5 job, your family structure, the very type of house you live in. Which parts of your normal life are maybe just temporary adaptations to this specific moment in history? And what do you think they might evolve into next? Thanks so much for joining me.